to the non-privately insured patients.
Okay. And with those private insured patients, is the high upfront cost, do they ever not take Benlysta because of that?
No, only if they have problems with their insurance. If for some reason they only get partial reimbursement, and that's actually something rare. We see that in some, people working for the state, they're 50% privately insured and 50% is being paid by the state insurance. Sometimes they don't get the full amount reimbursed. And those patients, obviously, for obvious reasons, they may be a little more reluctant compared to the others. But those are really rare exceptions. These patients are, they're not very common in this country. So really 99.9% of the patients, reimbursement is not a problem.
Okay, got it. So overall, when looking at the current therapies that are out there for patients who have lupus without any renal involvement, what's your level of satisfaction?
Like on a level from 1 to 10?
Yeah, 10 being I'm really happy with it, 1 being it's terrible.
Well, it's probably 7 to 8. I'm happy. I have more alternatives, especially for those patients with musculoskeletal involvement, which is good. Certainly, this group of patients with lupus I have a lot more good therapeutic options compared to the other ones, especially patients with lupus nephritis, where I also have options, but the options are often not that effective and are often not with a low number of side effects. Okay,
got it. So now we're getting to the top of the hour, so I just have a last quick question for you before we wrap things up. So, it sounds like overall you've had a pretty good experience with Benlysta, so we're just curious on your take on this. So back when Benlysta launched, analysts predicted there would be, $3 to $5 billion in sales, and that hasn't necessarily panned out that way. So I was actually curious, in your opinion, why do you think that was the case?
You mean why was the sales rate much lower than what was anticipated?
Right. So I think what happened was not as many, or they anticipated higher sales or more prescriptions than what actually happened. So I was just curious, as a rheumatologist who is using Benlysta, why do you think that might have happened?
Oh, I think, because I think that's my impression also from speaking to the company. They were thinking that, talking about lupus, those patients that are a good fit for belimumab would be like the majority of lupus patients. But that's just not the case. I remember very well when the company first came to me and said, "Wow, we have this new drug and it works great in lupus patients. It's the first approved drug in lupus. You should try it in every patient." No, it's not indicated for many patients. Certainly not for patients with renal disease. And renal disease is very common on these patients. And in renal disease, other drugs need to be prescribed. I think that's the major factor. But maybe some other factors. We talked about this, that, people didn't want to get involved with biologics, young females, they don't want to take any drugs at all, and you have lengthy discussions with them, and, disease need to be pretty severe.